Hello everyone, a warm welcome to you. My name is Nick and this is channel njenkin. It's time, as you probably know because you read the title of this video, a summary video where we look at the last block of 50 games we reviewed. In this category it's the Commodore Amiga. So we're going through games 151 through to 200. Now we're a bit late on this video, we've reviewed more than that by now, but let's carry on. So I'm going to rush through these. We normally do 30 seconds of each one. Wish me luck. Okay. And we start with Mortal Kombat. It's an okay game, but fighting games are always going to struggle a little bit on the Amiga due to the one button joysticks. But this is okay. It was the start of a game that would spring a franchise, lots of blood everywhere, and I think it's about less than 10 characters to pick on this one, so it starts off pretty basic. No animated backgrounds that you were to see in later Mortal Kombat games. A good start. Well done, Kang. He's good, he is. Lombard RAC Rally moves a bit like Test Drive 2 in animation. It's all in the cockpit. Feels a little bit weird because it feels like you're driving it from the back seat, because this camera is definitely in the back seat. Really good undulations, multiple courses throughout the UK. I think there's a mountain stage as well, which I quite like. If you had this back in the day, you would have played it a lot. The co-pilot's pretty rubbish. He's just going to hold that map straight, but the driver can't see it, only the person in the back seat. Sensible golf. A number of golf games around. This one doesn't take itself too seriously. I think it's based on the engine used in Cannon Fodder. Sensible golf, most famous from this franchise, is Sensible Soccer. The targeting mechanism and shooting takes a bit to get used to with the swing and stuff, but you can say that about any golfing game. And it's quite good, this one. I don't mind it. It's more cartoony than simulation. What it tries to do, it does really well. Multiple courses, some fictional. CELICA GT Rally, this game plays really well. Sometimes it reminds you a little bit of Hard Driving from the arcades. It's a mixture of polygon graphics and sprites. You know, there's not too many games that mix those two together. A little bit of pop-up from the Commodore Amiga, but that's to be expected in this sort of era. Control's good, the cockpit's quite nice too. And on later stages you will get rain and stuff, but I could never work out how to turn the windscreen wipers on, so that was a bit of an issue. But a good game. Mortal Kombat 2, more frame rates than the original game, few extra players, backgrounds are a bit more cooler, there's more blood around the place, and it's a more polished game than the first one. But still it suffers from the one button joystick, but animation's really good. It's based on, well, I think real life movement there, and some great fatalities along the way. Here's a fatality coming up. Oh, sploosh. Am I in the drink? I think I might be. There we go, splodge. That's not too bad, improvement. Flashback, I never really got on with this game back in the day, but in terms of graphics it's absolutely gorgeous. The animation of the movement is absolutely perfect. Bit like Prince of Persia in that respect, but this is better than that. Similar games are Another World, but it's a huge game. If you bought this back in the day, it would have been impressive. You would have got a lot of play out of it, but you have to spend a lot of time. And Commodore Amiga, the game's looking absolutely awesome. Still looks awesome today. Look at that movement. Good. Switchblade, the original Switchblade game, looks a little bit like Rick Dangerous, but you must go around this underground thing, discovering new rooms and beating all the baddies. We'll come to Switchblade 2 in a moment. It's a good start. Music's really good on this one as well. You do need a map here. A map would be extra special useful. I was quite impressed with this back in the day. But as I say, there's not a patch on Switchblade 2, which we'll come into in a couple of videos, I'm sure. Let's kill this lizard man. He's no good. Marble Madness. Takes a while to get used to the controls of this, based on the arcades, but you must guide this marble through various obstacles before the time runs out. There's gullies there and lean. It's good sense of inertia here. Control it on the joystick. Fire button gives extra strength, and it is possible to go over the edge like that and then you die. But you'd have to start right from the start again, and it's impressive. Go! A really addictive game. It's quite short though once you get used to it. There's not too many stages. Go! Now this is an evolution from Kickoff 2. After I've played it a while, I do prefer it to Kickoff 2 now, but there's a few extra skills here. There's a few bits in this I wish they'd implement on Kickoff Revival. Hopefully do at some point, especially the throw-ons. I love that dotted line for throw-ons. That's very accurate. But yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of Kickoff 2 and the Kickoff series, you'd love this as well. Written by Dino Dini, of course. Check out my review of Kickoff Revival if you haven't already. Switchblade 2, you can see the sprites are a lot better than the original Switchblade. More colours as well, the maps are more detailed. You have these first levels first of all, and then you go to the underground sort of bit, a bit like the first game. But same sort of premise. I haven't got the music on this one for some reason. Hooray! There's lots of cheats around for infinite strength and things like that, so if you go back to it now, you'll probably be able to complete it. Steve Davis World Snooker. It was good on the ZX Spectrum, but the aiming mechanism here is absolutely flawed. Your aiming is only probably about, it only gives you a line about an inch or something. It's very hard to line stuff up. Unlucky Steve Davis. There's a few other better snooker games, most notably Jimmy White's Whirlwind Snooker. This one struggles. You can get better at it the more you play. I suppose it is good mechanics there, but look at this. A bit weak, a bit random. World Darts. I prefer Wacky Darts, but this is good as well. You just line up this hand, which never seems to stay still, and beat your opponent in various championships. The opponents all seem pretty good on this, but it's good presentation there. Overall, I like it, but why would you buy darts on a computer when you can just buy a dartboard? That's always my problem with it, but there we go. And I probably could beat 45 if I was doing darts for real. Hooray! Strider, excellent on the arcades, not so good on the home conversions, but I played this a lot as a kid and the sound just gets me every time. Whoa, 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 whoa! I mean, gorgeous colour palette as well. There seems to be frames missing in the animation, but I don't mind that. That's how I played it as a kid, and that's how I remember it. I was never very good at this game, but I loved it. It was good. And always get a sense of nostalgia when I play this one. Strider! Yeah, it could have been a bit better, couldn't it, really? Red Dwarf Trivia Quiz, based on the BBC sci-fi comedy show Red Dwarf. Not an official licence. I think this is a public domain game, but it does ask you a variety of complicated questions, and you have to be a right geek to get these right. But yeah, they're too difficult, and there's no graphics, so it's a bit bland. If you're not into Red Dwarf, you'll think this is a bit poor. It looks like it's based on Workbench. It doesn't change the colours at all, and this music does get a bit grating in the end. I didn't realise it was that loud. Strider 2 seems to have all the same sounds as the original Strider, but the graphics are slightly better. Looks like the sprite's slightly smaller to give you more of a play field. But music's, yeah, it's exactly the same, isn't it, really? But more of the same, but slightly better. Strider 2, a good game. Did Strider 2 come out in the arcades? I can't quite remember at this time. But always good looking back at the games we've reviewed so far. Strider 2, it's a good one. Pwah, 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 etc. ROBOCOP 3. Now, it's a very polygon sort of game here. The first bit is driving, the next bit is actually ROBOCOP wandering through hallways shooting people. ROBOCOP 1 is a completely different game to ROBOCOP 2, and that's a completely different game to ROBOCOP 3. Published by Ocean, I believe, all three of them. ROBOCOP 3, the film's not very good. The game is okay once you get used to it. This bit's a bit sparse. I think we're going around an industrial estate trying to track a car or a warehouse, but once you do it, it does move on. Turbo Cup by French outfit Lauracels, and I don't like the angle of this one. It feels like we're controlling it over a bridge, like a remote control car. Overtaking's really tricky. The yellow cars seem to group together to block you. I would pick Lotus Esprit every time over this one, but it's interesting nonetheless. Moves okay, could be a little bit quicker, but yeah, very annoying to overtake this game. I wouldn't have bought it back in the day, I don't think. 3D Pool, another snooker orientated game. Ball physics are quite good. It's interesting with this one, you can rotate the table round to the angle that you want. Again, very tricky to aim, but it might be just that I'm rubbish at it. I prefer Arcade Pool by Team 17. Check out my review of that one. But this one is a little bit more clever, a little more physics involved, a little more coding going on. I won't explain the rules of pool to you because they change whoever I'm playing against. Galaxy Force 2. The Amiga's attempting quite a lot here. I think this is based on Galaxy Force from the arcade. It's a space shooter where you must penetrate alien forces. There's like a Death Star thing here coming up. Hopefully we'll get in there. And then you have to go through various hallways, avoiding the sides and destroying all enemies. You can go fast or slow. That gear stick on the left is showing, but yeah, It's a bit hard on the eyes, this one. Takes a bit of getting used to. Fast Food, really love this on the Spectrum. This is graphically enhanced on the Commodore Amiga. Plays really good, feels a bit like an Amos program game, but they've done really well. It's quite cute. I don't know why you buy this on the Commodore Amiga. It works better on the 8-bit systems, but it's good. It's good anyway. As a retro reboot from 16-bit to 8-bit, it's good. I like it. Lots of different levels, but again, I still prefer the Spectrum one just about. Yeah, but good. Control Dizzy, control and collect all the food. Big Run is not really big fun. It's not a bad game. It moves quite well. All these games you have to compare to the Lotus Esprit series, and it's okay. I think it's based on an arcade game too. Engine sounds are good. You have to keep your wits about you because there's rocks in the road. It moves very fast. It's okay, really. It's okay without being super stunning. Big Run, mediocre fun. Lots of the screen use in this game. Exelon, another game I much prefer on the ZX Spectrum. The controls I find a little bit flawed when I reviewed the game, but you have to hold the fire button to do missiles, and then just a single button there to shoot these things. Quite annoying. Again, it works better on the 8-bit systems. I don't know why you buy this on 16-bit otherwise, but it's alright, but I don't like it. Well, no, let's not beat about the bush. I hate it. There we go. And because I said I hated it in the review, lots of people marked it down, but, you know, I can't be afraid to say what I say. Alien 3, based on the film Alien 3, but the people that wrote this I don't think have seen the film. They just knew what Ripley looked like. In Alien 3, there's lots of, well, there's just one alien. In this game, there's loads. So I don't know what's going on there. It's a platform shooter where Ripley has to go around rescuing everyone from the aliens' clutches. So it's sort of like Alien 2 mixed up with Alien 3. She can survive a few fights against these aliens. Oh, rip. Let it rip, Ripley. Street Fighter. This is an abomination. It moves very, very slow. There's frames missing. It don't feel like you're in a real fight. It's very clunky. And no, I'm not playing this in slow motion from before. This is awful. I mean, I quite like Street Fighter 2, well, that was flawed as well, but this is hopeless. Avoid Street Fighter, one of the worst fighting games ever, I would have said, just because it's just so lethargic. Who cares who wins this fight? Let's just get out of here. Pinball Dreams, now going from bad to fantastic. One of the best pinball games on the Commodore Amiga, and even in terms of playability, it's competing with all the latest pinball games today, Zen Pinball 2 and Pinball Arcade. There'll always be more advanced in the graphics, but in terms of playability, Pinball Dreams offers you a number of tables, and it is awesome. Good music, retro fun, the physics are quite good, although the ball seems a little bit floaty, but I'll let that go. This might be in a lot of people's top 10 Amiga games. Burning Rubber seems to have stolen the sounds from Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge and put it in a rubber that's not quite as good. I don't like these games where you've got the cockpit and the blue car. We're controlling the blue car here, so you could have just got rid of the steering wheel and had a bigger screen. Maybe that's a cheat there to try and get the frame rate up. But it moves really fast. Mark it down for stealing all the sounds. I don't know how they got away with that. Engine sounds and the skidding sounds and everything stolen. I don't know if they stole the engine as well because it is moving very fast. Pinball Fantasies, the next one after Pinball Dreams. Enhanced tables, extra flippers and extra modes. Awesome game. Pinball Fantasies, if you've only got a few games on your Commodore Amiga, then Pinball Fantasies is one you should track down. Not if you don't like pinball, of course, but as we know, I absolutely love pinball. People that don't even like pinball like this game. That's how good it is. The future pinball games were on AGA chipset. Now, Gemini Wing, a pretty standard shooter, it has to be said. I mean, what it does okay, but it's all rather predictable. You can collect upgrades and weapons. You're fighting sort of like insects and sea animals, it seems, most of the time. But yeah, Gemini Wing. It's Gemini and it's a shooter. Not too much more I can say about this, really. It's not really that original, but it's not that bad either. WWF WrestleMania controlled the Hulk Hogan and other 80s stars. I think Hulk Hogan's one of the only ones that's alive at the moment. They all die from steroid abuse. This is okay, but it's not fantastic. It's limited moves. The one bit I don't like about it is every so often you've got to waggle the joystick to get extra strength, and I don't like doing that because it typically breaks your joystick. Not as bad as Daley Thompson's Decathlon, but on this you can run against the ropes to get a rebound, jump on the posts. Team Suzuki, not as good as No Second Prize, which we reviewed in the last set of 50, but good nonetheless. Easier to control on the mouse than the joystick. We're against all these polygon graphic racers where over 5 laps we must try and beat them. It's alright, but like all motorbiking games on the mouse, it's a little bit tricky to control first of all to do the right speed. I tend to go hopefully slow around these corners, and then everyone else is like booted off into the far distance. Space gun, this is great fun, but again it's trying out for like a light gun to hold at the screen, but the Amiga didn't have that, so we're using it on joystick. Probably better on mouse. You've visited an abandoned space station and you must shoot all the aliens, heavily influenced by the Aliens films, and rescue all the hostages and stuff. Guns will fire at you, there'll be upgrades to shoot, a bit like Operation Wolf in that regard, but with an alien skin on. Check out these aliens, it's a little bit busy. Boulder Dash 2, I don't think this is an official release, I think this is a public domain game, that's why I'm not showing a box there in the upper left of what it looked like. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I think it's public domain. It's programmed quite well. Looks like another game that's controlled on AMOS. It's interesting. It's using the Boulder Dash idea, so it's sort of like okay, really. It's not a game I go back to too much, but I can't rate it down because, well, it's programmed well. It does what it's supposed to do. It is Boulder Dash. Amnios, a very interesting shooter by Psygnosis, who is renowned for their graphics, but their difficult game. You can go in all 360 directions over this map. You must shoot absolutely everything and then get to the next stage. There's a nice radar on the bottom right showing us what we need to shoot left. It's a good game, it's interesting. Would have played this quite a lot, to be honest with you. You can actually get immersed as this as a kid and actually feel that you're in outer space. Player Manager 2, very hard to get an interesting review of management type games. Sequel to Player Manager 1 by Anko. Player Manager 1 was by Dino Dini, and I prefer that to this Player Manager 2. But, having said that, there's quite a lot of stuff to click on. There's a game element also, so you wouldn't have been disappointed if you got this back in the day. You can certainly get lost as a player manager in this, and then play the games afterwards, which is a sort of kick-off engine without being kick-off. It's alright, it's not abysmal, it's not too bad. Now, talking about not abysmal, 4x4 off-road racing is a little bit abysmal. It moves really, really slow. There's different stages, but essentially they're exactly the same with a different skin on it. So this is like a desert stage, there's a mud stage, which is this but brown, an ice stage, which is this but white, forest stage, well, I think you sort of like get the picture really. Sometimes there's streams to cross and the car might get stuck in there, but it just moves pathetically slow. Look at that car, it looks like a bit of clip art just stuck on. It's not skidding around. BART versus the Space Mutants. Now, mutants have invaded Springfield in this platform shooter. BART must collect various objects, in particular, I think pink ones, because that's what the aliens are after the whole time. Quite easy to control, nice music throughout. Takes a little bit of practice to get used to it, but yeah, you get a bit of enjoyment from this one. I didn't get too far in the review because I haven't played it too much, and it's one of those mini games that I'm rubbish at. I think you can control different Simpsons characters as you go by landing on their heads. You get coins. Now, Ikari Warriors, this is a classic from the arcades and the sequel to Commando. I prefer Ikari Warriors to Commando on the Amiga, but it's the other way round on the ZX Spectrum there. Good music, 1 or 2 players you controlling this Rambo sort of character. It's much more fun in 2 players, has to be said. There's options to get in tanks as well, but you need a bit of tactics here. I've been meaning to get this on the PlayStation 3 for a while because it is in the store, and I'll probably do that at some stage. But yeah, this is a great game. Put it to Dogs of War. Wolfchild, another platform game, a little bit more advanced than Turrican, although this background looks similar to it. You must rescue your father, and using this potion to turn into a wolf, then you've got to kick butt over a number of stages. I think they've captured him to build some sort of super weapon or something bizarre. Not a bad little game this, you'd have to say it's a classic. Wolfchild. He's a wolf and he's a child. What else do you need to know? Disposable Hero. Now this graphically is absolutely sensational. It's really tricky like a lot of them, but sound is brilliant. I only found out about this game recently. You can land in docking bays to buy weapons and things like that. But look at this. It's a feast of the eyes here. It does look like an arcade game. I did play this with a cheat on it when I did the review, I think, because it's quite easy to die. But yeah, really, really good game. It's one of the best shooters out there on the Commodore Amiga. Action fighter. It's like a poor man's Spy Hunter, really. But yeah, it's very, very basic. It looks like a public domain game, but it isn't. It is an official release. And after each stage, you can change vehicles by collecting different letter upgrades. I think it's A to F, then it eventually changes to a pulse, and then there's a stage where you can actually fly in the air. The racing stage is much more exciting than the flying stage, where the whole thing tends to slow down abysmally. Good jump. Hooray! Bomb Jack, fantastic in the arcades. Now, this conversion is alright. It's acceptable, but the screen is a little bit squished. And as a consequence, I did prefer playing it on the 8-bit system, the ZX Spectrum, instead. I'm maybe a little bit harsh in the review, but it's okay, actually. I'm having a look at it another time. Music is good. Backgrounds are quite pleasant. You would have got quite a lot of fun out of this. Go, Bomb Jack, go! So you have to float to get the bombs, avoid all the enemies. Zany golf. This isn't proper golf. It's like crazy golf. Over a number of holes, you have to go through windmills and get that red ball there into holes like this. There's a hamburger hole next, one that's based on a pinball table, but it's quite nice. Quite a short game again, but yeah, pretty cool. I did enjoy reviewing this one, so you can't compare it to Sensible Golf because that's supposed to be on Real Golf, although it's mad. Zany Golf, go in! Yes, well done me. Overlander, heavily influenced by Road Blasters on the Commodore Amiga, taking that idea, but in my opinion this one's better. It's very red, as if we're driving through hell, but you must over various stages shoot all your enemies and ender level bosses, basically kill everything. You can upgrade your car with battering rams and other sort of weapons. Very fast, but gets boring quite quick, I would say. Yes. Come out a few years after. Question of Sport, reviewed this on the ZX Spectrum as well, but essentially it's like a pub machine, really, where you put money in and then you get asked various sports questions. Now, it will be helpful if you've got a bit of a knowledge about 80s and 70s sports trivia, because that's anything after that, this game hadn't come out then. It's from the era of the TV show Question of Sport with Ian Botham versus Bill Beaumont, where they answer questions about sport and then win. It's all general knowledge and various themes and sports. You knew that already, right? This game, Turbo, come from a recommendation, but it looks like it's got frames missing. It's influenced by Spy Hunter. It's better than Action Fighter, but it's a bit gory. You run over people and there's blood spilt everywhere as soon as you crash. Controlling it, I find, is very, very tricky. But no doubt you could get used to it. For 1 to 2 players, it might be more exciting in 2 players, but it's a bit meh for me. It's not a game I'd come back to too often. This is an interesting one, Highway Patrol. In the style of Test Drive 2 and all sort of those, but there's no dot on the steering wheel to see where you're going to centralise it, so it's all based on these hands, really. You must drive around this fictional place, bashing into cars and arresting people, because you're a member of the Highway Patrol. Again, it doesn't seem to have much impetus. Bash into cars. Hooray! What's that teaching, kid? Not much. Average. Now, this game is brilliant. Grand Prix Circuit. By accolade, next games to come with Test Drive and Test Drive 2, and I love those, so I was always going to love this straight away there. There is a game called Cycles, which I might have reviewed by now. I have reviewed it by now. You want to check that out after this top 50. Yeah, it's good. You can choose a Ferrari, McLaren, or a Williams. Good stuff. Spectrum version of this is abysmal. Fighting Soccer. There's no fighting in this game at all. Based on the arcade cabinet by SNK. Once you get used to this game, it's too easy. You'll start winning 10 goals to 0 every game and win these championships. In terms of longevity, it's not going to last you very long, which is a shame because it seems quite jolly at the start with the music and stuff, but you can just wander around and just score at ease. Not like that. I think it's based on the Olympics football, I think, but very clunky there. I prefer Microprose. Eliminator. It's it's a futuristic road where you must clear aliens off this highway. Upgradable weapons. It's very tricky, this game, but I'd highly recommend it. There's a Spectrum version as well. Jumps to do. Whee! There we go. Tunnels, varying terrain. At some point you drive on the ceiling as well. Ooh, what a feeling when you're driving on the ceiling. Isn't that what Lionel Richie once sung? I think he was. And the last game in this 50 is Road Blasters, what Overlander was based on. This came out a few years before, and it shows really. Not as many frames. The problem with this game is the levels are very, very short, and it's far too easy, so you'd be ripping through them quite quickly. What is cool though, you can collect weapons that are dropped to you by your support spaceship type thing. It's alright for the era, but it's not that advanced, and you see there the level's over already. What's going on there then? Don't know. Yahoo! So I hope you like looking at those ones. We'll keep going on. So already we've reviewed 200 games on the Commodore Amiga. So that was games 151 to 200. If you've got any comments about those or any Amiga games you want me to review that I haven't done already, then please comment below. Thank you for watching everything as normal, because without your comments the channel is literally nothing. So take care of yourself and have a very fond day. And yeah, get on with it, Nick. And goodbye.
Goodbye.